Okay, good evening to everyone in the house so far. Samuel, good evening to you
Good evening
and
to you.
the freelancing community, right? Thank you to everyone for having me on this evening. Sure, this evening I'm going to spend time uh just talking to you guys, right? I'm not coming here to come and discuss anything so technical as it were, right? Some of the things I would share are things that you already know. I'm just going to, kind of like bring in home more and then, just try to talk about them in different perspective, right? So we want to discuss how to start your career or your journey as a freelancer in Africa. So I'll just share a little slide here. Just give me a moment. I think I can share, right?
True. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Mm,
let's give me,
Let me see.
okay. If I can't, it's fine. I'll just send it over. I
Okay,
can stop
let
in
me
here.
just I'm making you a host so you can share now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I believe everybody can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. So.
Okay. Thank you. Right. So I'll just like to do freelance 101. Right. So let's get into it. I think firstly I want to start off with my journey because I mean, I think that is always important to start that way so that people would not think that, maybe you fell from the sky or you just arrived one day and then you suddenly became a success. If that's the word I would use to tell myself or people would use to tell me in 2025, right? Firstly, I didn't bring freelancing from heaven, as it were, right? Um, started my freelance journey just around COVID period. Before then, I've been hearing about freelancing. I had friends doing one or two things around freelancing, but it wasn't something I paid much attention to. Uh, just kept doing my stuff around real estate, trying to build a career path there. And, in the course of doing agency here and there, I said also I did a delivery boy kind of job for a a a business that sold foodstuffs, raw foodstuffs and all of that. Went back and forth, and then, you know, um, things weren't just working because like I come from a home where I had to take responsibility quite early, quite early. First son, only boy, four junior sisters, my mom, dad, and it was crazy growing up. It was very, very tough. So I knew that I had to do something different. I had to do something quite different. And then, one of these days, I had a friend come over to my space. He came down from Ocean State. He came down to my space. When I share this story, I usually say it was a blessing in disguise because like this guy had a breakup in his relationship and he just called me, guy, how far, what's up? Like, is it possible for me to come over to your place to come clear my mind and all of that? I'm like, yeah, why not? You sure can. And he did come over. And, I remember that evening, that precious evening, I was at work, uh, doing my normal delivery, right? Where people kind of like, we used to run Facebook ads for this business. So people would then make orders. And then I used to be the one to go deliver those orders, right? So people like buy bags of rice, bags of beans, and then I go deliver them. I carry them on my laps and then go deliver them around everywhere in town. There was no place that I didn't go to go deliver, right? And then, so his name is Dio. Dio arrived this precious evening and I was about to finish off my delivery and he just saw me, carrying two bags of rice on my laps on bike. And when I got back, we took the cab home and in the cab he just said, that why on earth am I doing this kind of job? Like, I remember how he said there's no amount of money they're going to pay him in this world that is going to make him do this kind of job. So the question I asked him was, out of curiosity, I said, so, I mean, if I don't do this, so I know I said to him that I'm doing this and I'm combining it with a bit of real estate agents here and there. Sometimes I get like give people properties and I get like 10% off it and stuff. Right, even though that does not come in always. It's like, guy, but I know you've al always written poems. Uh, why not polish your writing skills and then, you know, become a freelancer. I'm like, I really don't have a full idea of how this works. And I'm not too sure if it's something I would do well in and stuff. He said, why not that? I should get on Upwork and stuff. And I'm like, okay. So we got home. He explained a bit of how it works. And then I remember him clearly saying to me that, oh, I'm sure that, of course, like people don't do it now again because like there are a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. But way back then, I remember him saying that there are people who can help me open an Upwork account, well-optimized account. All I have to do is to, pay them as it were. And then I asked how much. He said it was 20,000 naira. And back then, 20,000 naira, my salary had just been increased to 20,000 naira. I was earning 15. My salary had just been increased to 20,000 naira. And I'm like, guy, 20,000, that's like all of my salary. They said it does not have to be like immediate. I can always like save up for it and all of that. And I said, sure, no while. But like the thing about me, right, is I mean, I'm this kind of guy that always tries stuff, right? Now, I told him, have you earned money from this thing before? He said he has. And that's what I usually tell, but that was all I needed. If somebody that I know has earned money from it, then for me, it was enough evidence. So I just said, you know what, since this guy's earned from this stuff before, I'm going to take that bold steps. I remember very well, it was my salary for that month. I mean, the salary came in while he was still at my side because he stayed 2 weeks in my place. And I just sent it to him. And he forwarded it to those guys. They created an account for me, sent me the login details and stuff. And then that's how I started. But I remember very well that, you know, um, there's this thing, right? I just felt like I tried the first 2, 3 weeks to source for clients. I didn't really understand how it worked. Um, and then my guy had gone back. And there's this way our mind works. I don't know. I'm sure that a lot of us like is a comfort zone. For me, the 20,000 wasn't enough, but it was guaranteed. It wasn't enough, but it was guaranteed. So when I tried for 2, 3 weeks and I didn't get a gig, what I just did was I just went back to my comfort, which was I go to work, I just thought I do everything I have to do, which in fact a lot of the like up to like almost half of that money I was spending training myself because like the work was really really tiring and it was weighing down on me. It was weakening my immune system, so I used to like have my body shut down. I'll go to the clinic and stuff like that. So back and forth. I stopped. Right, I just stopped, and I remember that it was after like 4 months. One of these days, I just checked my email and I remember very well, like that woman's name is always in my head, Amanda Roy. I saw an email saying that Amanda Roy was requesting a refund. I was wondering, refund for what? And I checked, I opened the email and I saw $40. She was requesting me to refund her $40. I was wondering, I didn't collect anybody's money. Why am I receiving an email, for money to be refunded and all of that? And I remember I picked my phone immediately. I called my guy and he just like made jest of me. He said, so he explained to me somebody had purchased my project catalog on Upwork and the person kept messaging me, hi, are you there and stuff. I wasn't responding because I mean I'd forgotten about the whole thing. And then, and the person sent me messages for almost 2 weeks. I don't respond. And the person just requested a refund. So I was like, Dio, how am I going to do this? Like, I mean, I need money. Like, he just said, you don't need money. You have enough already. Because if you didn't have enough, you would have checked your email. He said I have to refund the woman's money because she has officially requested for a refund. But what that did to me, right, is that I just knew that, it just clicked in my head that, you know what? If $40 could have come through this thing, right, it means there is much more. So I just did was just I locked in and I told him, is there somebody I can actually pay to teach me? And I will be able to call the person, speak to the person and stuff. He referred me to somebody. I got on board with the person. And in the next 2 weeks, I got a gig of $100. And The next one after $100, I did another like $50. I just went from, I remember that that month, I went from the guy who was earning 20,000 naira. That month, I did 270K, right? And then the next month, I came down to the around 140. The next month, I did around 400,000. And I just knew that that was it. All the money that I was earning, the money that it took me a year to earn, I did it in a month. And next month, when I did it again, I just went to them at work because I was quite important to them at work for their business to move forward. Because like I was the guy they were using to run their deliveries. I just went to them at work and I told them, you know what, I'm sorry, but I have to resign. And I'm a honest person. My boss was like, what's happening and stuff. I said, I just found out this thing. It's called freelancing. This is the money that I've made from it. And I'm sorry I can't continue this. And the funny thing is, of course, he wasn't happy to let me go and stuff. But around like 2 weeks after, he called me and said, what's up? One of these days, if I'm free, can I come to the workplace and stuff? I said, yes. So sure. I showed up at his place, like, I just want to teach his junior brother and stuff. Like, his junior brother also needs to learn stuff like that. And then, yeah, I was able to help his junior brother also get started, and all of that. That's how basically things changed. I went from so I remember taking a training. I saw somebody's post on Facebook. I used to be active on Facebook then. Saw somebody post on Facebook that I wanted to do a writing class. I was a writer already, but I took that class to polish myself, my skill, and then I started to like, monetize and do content writing proper, and then from there I took. I don't know. I don't think I've said this. I've only mentioned this maybe once or twice on Twitter. I took a course on product design, UI/UX design on Coursera. I didn't finish it then because I just realized it was taking too long for me. It was a seven module course, and each one of them was like, I think that course is still on Coursera till date. It was a lot, and then I just went into doing a course on marketing, digital marketing on Udemy, and then that's how I started to do a bit of product marketing, a bit of content marketing, and then doing content writing. I do all of this together, and then of course like it took me about 2 years after I said to like train people properly, teach people properly, and yeah, here we are today. So you know, the lesson in my story, the lesson I just wanted to share my story is that freelancing basically changed my life. I didn't. I mean, I came from. My foundation, my background was like real abject poverty, and then yeah, I mean, I'm in a better place today. I've been able to help people be in a better place just basically because of this. So let's just move on. So what is freelancing, right? Freelancing, the way I usually define it is that business model that allows you to determine when you want to work, whom you want to work with, and from where you want to work. Freelancing is basically a business model that affords you freedom of choice. What I want to do tonight, I'll just like explain the basics, the foundation, the things you need here and there. And then I prefer to take more time answering questions because I feel like a lot of times people already know all of these things, but sometimes it's either a fear, imposter syndrome, or just a bit of uncertainty here and there is the reason people are not doing what they are supposed to do. So a lot of people know one or two things around about freelancing. What they don't have is execution, right? So and then people always forget that you can't actually learn something properly without doing it, right? You can't actually learn something properly without doing it. Yes, you need to learn, right, before you get started, but the way to actually become an expert is in doing. It's in doing, right? Everything that I've had to do since I started my career, which has been 5 years now, I have gotten better in doing. I don't think there's been any skill set. I remember my first um, role as a content marketer. There were stuff that I had to learn on the job, right? So, a lot of people just don't know that. So, right, freelancing is a business model that allows you to determine when you want to work, whom you want to work with, and from where you want to work. So, it's that business that allows you, or that work mode that allows you freedom of choice, right? So, for example, you come to me, you want me to do something for you, you want me to write an article for you, and if I feel like I don't like your personality, if I don't like your approach, I can decide not to take it. If I feel like what you're offering me is not enough, I can decide not to take it. Yes, I can negotiate, but I also have the freedom to decide not to take it. Also, I don't have to wake up in the morning and I'm in a rush to get to the office. The last time I left my house to go to any place to work for anybody, it was 2020. I have never had to wake up in the morning to rush out for work. And I don't think I've ever done anything physical since then till date that gave me money. Everything that I've made me, I mean, everything that I've lived off from 2020 till today, 2025, has been money that I made on my phone and on my MacBook. As simple as that. Right. So you determine yourself whom you want to work with, where you want to work for or from, how much you want to earn, right? That's all on you. So it is the business model or the work model that allows you or affords you freedom of choice. Now, how do you become a freelancer? The first and most important step to become a freelancer is skill acquisition. So sometimes I get people coming to my DM and they say, oh, I want to take your Upwork one-on-one mentorship. And I say, okay, fine. What skill do you have? And they say, that's why I want to learn Upwork. And then I mean, I smile, right? Because like it shows, and this is something I've noticed down the years. People hear LinkedIn, people hear Upwork, people hear Fiverr, people hear FlexJobs, and they just automatically assume that this in itself is what freelancing is, or this in itself is what I need to learn to make money. No. So when we say freelancing, freelancing is not a skill. Like I said earlier, it's a business model, a work model. Freelancing is not a skill, not a skill set. The first thing you do if you want to become a freelancer is to acquire a skill set. Now, this skill set has to be digital in the context of what we are discussing today. In the context of what we are discussing today, this skill has to be digital. Why? Because you need a skill or an ability that you can offer as service or as a service to clients or to brand for you to get money in return. Do not forget, fundamentally as adults, you are in Africa, you are in Asia, you are in Europe, you are in Antarctica. Fundamentally, money is always an exchange for work done. Money is always an exchange for value given. The way to make money is to offer value, to do work, and then in exchange, you get given money. So when you think freelancing, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what do I have that I can offer to a client? Now, a client simply means somebody who has a problem and wants you to solve the problem for them. A client is somebody. Now, that's somebody also, it could be a group of people. So if it's a group of people, it becomes a brand, it becomes a company. So what do I have that I can offer to someone, to a client, to a brand that can solve their problem, which would lead to them giving me money back in return? Simple. It is that simple. So before you become a freelancer, before you get into freelancing, what do you have that people can pay you for? What do you have that people can pay you for? Now, you can have different things. I made a list, but the list is not exhaustive. I mean, you can always use Google, you can always use ChatGPT to, what's the word? To, you can always use ChatGPT to get more of all of this. But this skill set, now, I think before I continue, let me say this also, that freelancing is not a 2025, 2023, or a Gen Z phenomenon. I think it's always important that we note that freelancing, in the way that I've explained it, is about that freedom of choice. So now, the difference between freelancing, what freelancing has always been, and what we practice today, or what is most prominent today, is simply digitalization. Let me explain, or let me bring home what I'm trying to say. Look at when we were growing up. I believe everybody here were all Africans. When you were growing up, I'm sure there was one carpenter you knew in your area, or one electrician that you knew in your area. If you guys have a stool that gets bad, or you guys need a table, you have a carpenter that you call on to, you reach out to. This guy does the table for you guys, constructs a table, and then gives it to you guys, or comes to deliver it to you guys. Of course, you guys would have paid him, or you pay half and then you pay the half later on. Or if it's somebody that your parents have good relationship with, once he delivers, he gets his money. This guy is not employed to your dad. No, he's employed to your mom. This guy is going to take up somebody else's job also. In fact, sometimes they delay your job and you go to their workspace. What's up? Why have you not delivered? Why are you not done with that table? And they will tell you, sorry, it's because you're working on that person's own. They have that freedom, determine who they want to work with, where they want to work from. They can take different gigs. Yes, what they're doing is they're taking gigs. So those ones would also qualify as freelancers. Like I said, what is prominent today? The first thing when we think of freelancing, we're thinking of content writing, we're thinking of digital marketing, we're thinking of, web development, we're thinking of front-end development, and all of that is simply digitalization. We now have a lot of the world's problems that are now digital. It doesn't excuse the fact that there are still physical problems that freelancers solve. I just wanted to put that out there so that when you are having conversations outside, you can really, really understand what you're talking about, right? You would be able to, when people ask you questions on that, you can answer properly, right? So skills you can learn so much. These are like very prominent skill sets, but there are so many. One of my students is a speech therapist on Upwork, and she's earned tens of thousands of dollars as a speech therapist. Normally, you would wonder what a speech therapist. Yes, I have a lawyer, not one, I have two, and I'm presently coaching the third one, who, they are basically doing legal content as freelancers. The point I'm trying to make is that there are so many things, so many, what's the word? There's so many things you can offer as service to clients as a freelancer. What you need to do is to find one that suits you and sit down and learn it. Find one that suits you, sit down with it, learn it properly, and then go out there to monetize. Okay? Find one that suits you. Now, um, when it comes to monetization, right? I'm trying to round off here so that I can have like 15 minutes thereabouts to answer questions. Um, when it comes to monetization, please and please, I think I said it, you don't have to be the best before you start monetizing. I wasn't the best writer. Trust me, the first 1 month of me writing content and delivering to clients, I used to do corrections. Clients would say, till date, there are times clients will still say, I want this better this way. It's okay. Of course, as you grow in your level of expertise, um, you get better, your experience gets better. and then you have minimal errors in your work. But even the best of the best in different fields in this world still make mistakes because I mean it's only human. So do not wait until you have everything figured. You know, the funny thing is there will never be a time where your mind would accept that you're very good. You know why? Because if you think you are the best, trust me, there's somebody better than you. If you think, if you get to the point where you feel like I'm very good now, if anybody comes out on Twitter today and say I am the best product designer in the country, it's a lie. How did you know? You are just as good can be. There's somebody else somewhere who is also as good can be, or even better. I'm the best writer the country has. It's a lie. You can even be the best-selling author. It doesn't make you the best writer because we do not even have a yardstick, as it were, to judge the best writers. You know, we can have a bunch of good writers who say, oh, all of these people are good writers, but to say this is the best, or to go as far as saying this is the best in the country, it's a stretch. So what's important is get to a point where you are confident that if I am given a project, if I am given a gig, I can deliver. When you get to that point, go out there and start monetizing. In terms of will I make mistakes or not, you will. You learn from it and you will not make that mistake the next time. It's basic, it's simple. You will learn from it and you will not make that mistake the next time. So as an African man or as an African, I think that it's important that I say this. We are taught, we were brought up in such a way, or majority, don't let me say, or are brought up in such a way that we shy away. Or, you know, a lot of us growing up, there's this thing where when you want to talk or you want to show stuff around elderly people, they shut you down. And a lot of us grew up that way. We now believe that humility is to be so good or get to a point before you can show yourself. Please drop it as an adult. It's not humility. What it does to you is simply dampens your confidence. And trust me, there are so many people who are not as good as you are. I think I've written about that this month. I try and always mention that on my on my Twitter page, on my WhatsApp page. There are people out there who are not as good as you are, but they are making good money from it. I mean, that same skill set that you have, they are making good money from it. Right. So once you get to a point where you have learned to a point where somebody can give you a task, you can get it done, no matter how um maybe foundational it might seem, you are good to go. What I tell people that I coach is the worst that can happen is when you see a gig that you know very well, I can't get this done. Just stay away from it. Just stay away from it. Do the ones you can get done. The ones that you feel like, oh, I know a bunch of it. I might just find a few things challenging. Take it on. Take it on. Do your research while you're working on it, and you would see how you would get better. It's as simple as that. So let me take a pause there and let me take questions. You can ask me any questions around freelancing basically. If there are things that I didn't touch on, yeah, because I mean I could not have touched on everything. I have limited time. But if there are things that I didn't touch on that you want to ask me directly, please feel free to do that. I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So insightful. The floor is open for questions. So if you have a question, you can just raise a hand and then we'll call on you to speak. But my first question is this, Mr. Hillary. Do we get your slides, sir? I know you were not able to finish.
Yeah, I'll try and send that across. I'll try and send that across.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So do you have questions?
Okay, good day, sir. I have question.
All right, go ahead, please.
All right, so my question is around the area of Upwork, because I happen to have an Upwork account that I created sometime early this year, thereabout. But it's kind of, let me say, I've been applying for gigs, but none has been responding. And I am an academic writer. I am and on the ground, like when I work with persons outside of Upwork, at least I've been getting results. But when I apply to jobs on Upwork, they don't reply, they don't give me jobs. So I just left it alone. But I think maybe this program will help me to be able to get back to it and get things up and running. So I want to know how what I can do to further my Upwork game, something like that. I hope I got my question. I hope you got my question clear.
Yeah, indeed. So, basically, I mean, there's a lot that you can be doing right and be doing wrong with Upwork, right? So, what I would advise you to do is to do a proper research around how the platform works. Because, like, one thing I can tell you from experience that a lot of people assume they understand the platform, but they don't. I'm saying that because I've taken a lot of people who who had accounts, who have submitted proposals, and when they come to me for coaching and stuff, by the time you go through their profile, you can see, oh, their portfolio is not well. I mean, they don't have a good portfolio. Their overview is actually not even good. They don't even know how to write good proposals. And when you can teach them all of that, you notice that they just begin to, fly on the platform. So do a proper research around how the platform works, and if possible, find somebody who can coach you. If their training is free, good for you. If their training is paid, pay for it and get to it. So yeah, that's what I can say to you on that.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Do we have
Um,
any? Okay, go ahead, please.
yeah, I would like to. I have a question because, okay, my question is it borders around competition. Well, before I continue, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Hilary. Your session was quite short, but it was very insightful, and I got inspired a lot from your story on how you became who you are today. So to my question is on competition, basically. So like the person who previously asked the question now, I had an Upwork account and I've not even gone back to it in years. When people ask me, I usually tell them that, oh, I don't have a lot of experience in Upwork. I have better luck getting jobs outside of Upwork. So maybe referrals from friends, even on Twitter, I have gotten jobs like I just saw a job posting from Twitter and I got it sometimes from job boards like, oh, I see that okay, somebody's looking for a content writer and all of that, and I apply. I do believe that maybe because of what I do, I'm a writer, the amount of competition surrounding those things, surrounding writing, I think is a lot. So my question is, do you believe that the competition is actually a lot? If you do believe that the competition is a lot, what do you suggest to people or someone like me who is trying to find ways to like make it make better money in that field despite the competition? That's my question.
Okay, Olajumoke, thank you very much for the question, and thank you for the kind words also. I appreciate that. So basically, in terms of commission, let me share what a friend said. I mean, and it's not just a friend; it's actually a very smart friend of mine. Very smart, I'm telling you. So he made a statement 2 weeks ago. He said, anybody, so I'm sorry if you don't understand Pidgin. But he said in Pidgin, he said, anybody with they learn tech in 2025, no serious. So make people go find other things too. And he genuinely believes it. You know why? Because he feels like every field in tech already have more than enough people already. So I'll take you back. If you remember when we were growing up, when we were in school, they used to say, why do you want to go and study law? There are so many lawyers who don't have good jobs or who don't have well-paying jobs. Is it medicine? Do you know how many doctors or how many people study medicine that are in school that are looking for, that studied medicine that are still trying to find a good job? Some medical students or some doctors are earning 80,000. My point is this. When people know something works, people simply start to do it. A lot more people start to get into it. It's normal. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's saturated. I've heard people say, oh, product design, there are too much product designers. The one that went viral one time is VAs. People said people should stop learning virtual assistant because there are too much virtual assistant. But the question is, who said it is too much? Now, another thing is we need to look at it from this angle. A lot of times, when you look at content writing, when you look at things like VA, do you observe that there are actually so many jobs around those fields over others? Let me give you an example. Somebody that reached out to me over the course of the week, paid for my Upwork mentorship. And then before then, she had told me that she's a UX researcher. So we're supposed to start out as, she monetized as a UX researcher. And then what she said to me is that she doesn't want to do UX researching anymore. She wants to do virtual assistant. And I'm like, why? She said that because she feels like she's gone through our Upwork profile. She does not see enough UX research jobs. And she feels like there are not enough jobs, but she always sees a lot of VA jobs. She always sees a lot of content writing jobs. And I said to her, it's simple. Number one, there are so many blogs, so many websites, because content writing is beyond, obviously, it's beyond writing articles and blog posts. Content writers these days can take social media management roles, and all of that. So there are so many problems for content writers to solve. Same with VAs, right? So, and I said, if you stay with UX research, what will happen is there's not much jobs, but it also means that the jobs that are there will be enough for the people that are there. In content writing, there are so many content writers, but also there are so many content writing jobs. My advice to you is this. If this is what you want to stay with, what you need to do is ensure that you are very good, very good. Find the right way to pitch. And when you get one gig, always over-deliver. When you over-deliver, what you need is one or two retainer gigs, and you are fine. One or two retainer gigs. I worked with somebody for 2 years plus. I can be very sure that if I don't get another gig that month, what I will earn from that person who is in in Qatar is fine. I had another client from Oman. Once that one gives me the gig for the month, for the week, by the time I calculate how much I get from the person at the end of the month, I'm good. Any other thing I'm looking for is that I need more money, but I cannot see that I don't have enough for me and my loved ones for that month and for me to save. But the idea of, oh, this is saturated, this is saturated, please don't pay attention to stuff like that. If you want to genuinely move to something else, it should be because, when you say you've squeezed the whole juice out or you don't find fulfillment in it anymore, and then you want to explore something else, that's fine. But it's saturated and that it's not true. Because there are still people there that are doing very, very, very well for themselves. I have a friend of mine who basically makes so much money via content writing. His writers, because we have people write for us. He has some of his writers that he pays 120K per week. Do you know how much money you have to make for you to pay somebody that writes for you 120K per week? So my point is there are still people making good money from it. I hope that helps you. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. I got knowledge just now too, sir.
You're welcome, brother.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hillary. Do we have more questions, please? Please, let's ask questions.
Okay, I also have another question. So concern, can I proceed?
Yes, yes, you can proceed.
Hello?
Please. Hello, you can proceed.
Okay, so Mr. Mr. Remy Hillary was mentioning that he he has a way of training people. I think he mentioned something like that. So please, how does someone get to join your training? And because I am an academic writer actually, and I would like to grow my Upwork account and just get to be using it very well these days. So I wouldn't mind joining his training. I don't know.
Yeah, you can always reach out to me personally. Yeah, you can always reach out to me personally.
Okay. So are we going to get your mail or something?
Oh, okay.
Okay, go
Yes,
ahead.
you can. You, I don't know. I'm coming. Let me just drop my mail in the comment section. Yeah, that's my mail.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Do we have other questions?
Sorry, a question just popped in my head now. So
All right.
I wanted to ask, do you think it's advisable to maybe combine like different different unrelated aspects of different unrelated skills? Yes, that's how I would best put it. For example, I'm a lawyer and also I'm sorry, I'm training to be a lawyer and I'm also a content writer. It would make sense for me to like want to do maybe legal writing and all of that. But what about just branching into a different aspect of I want to do writing, maybe content writing, but then I want to also branch into maybe a different aspect of legal work that isn't so related to writing. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So I might want to do content writing while probably on the same Upwork. I'm offering both skills at the same time. So maybe I want to do maybe going through contracts or something. I really can't. I'm just trying to like think of something I could do. Maybe like something on legal, but isn't so related to writing. And then I also want to do content writing both at the same time. Do you think it's advisable?
Okay, so I mean, it's not. So basically, I usually tell people um, if you want to combine skill sets, make sure that they are related. It's best, right? It's best they are related. So, for example, you're a content writer, you want to do legal writing, that's fine. If you want to do content writing, you want to do anything around social media, around marketing, that's fine. But oh, you are a lawyer, you want to monetize your, I mean, contract, maybe contract interpretation and stuff like that, and you want to go take it with marketing, not related. So if you want to combine skills, make sure that at least, so I usually tell people like in terms of service, make sure that you have skills that cut across. If you are combining two services, make sure that you have skills, one or two skills that cut across both services. It's just very important and professional because you also don't want to confuse people that come to you.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Hillary. And I think this is where we have to say wrap up your session now for the Q&As. We are really grateful. Can we just drop an emoji for Mr. Hillary to appreciate him for his time? Thank you so much, sir. I understand that he has to go now to attend to some other commitments. We would all get the recording of the session via email, and would also get the slides once I get them from him as well. Thank you very much once again. I think it's safe to say it's a great time to wrap up now. But before we wrap up, I would like to invite everyone, if you are not a member of African Freelancers, you can please join our crew or join our community. I'll drop the link in the chat box, so you can just join our community, and I promise it's going to be worth the while. Simply, all you need to do is fill the form, and you'll get emails from us, and you can access a lot of resources on our website as well. So it will help you on your freelance journey as you go along. So I've dropped the so that's the link to the website. I want to get the direct link to the freelancing page. All right. Okay, so you can join our community, and you'll be glad you did. Thank you very much once again for joining the session. You'll get an email from us shortly with the recording and the slides. Let's have a great evening and enjoy your freelancing career. Next month, we will be having another session. So that will be a content writing session. So if you like to become a content writer, if you like to learn more about content writing, if you like to, if you're already a content writer and you want to expand, then you can join us next month. If you know someone that is interested in content writing, you can just let them know that something big is happening. Please follow our pages on social media, African Freelancers on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you will get access to all the information that you need. Once again, thank you very much to everyone for attending, and let's have a great evening. Bye. Good night.